Today I want to be talking about how to land a job as a math teacher. So a lot of math teachers are feeling kind of not appreciated because of like AI went in and kind of took over and kind of just shrink the demand for math teachers. Math teachers, I remember, used to be making pretty good income back in the days. And I mean, I remember I was doing tutoring for like 120 bucks per hour, and that was like in 2006. I was like 24 years old, and later it became like, I don't know, like you could only dollars an hour. So if you're a math teacher for the state of Connecticut, and or heck for any kind of state, then there's a couple of ways that you could earn extra income as a math teacher. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a couple of good options. In some of those options, heck, I explored myself. I couldn't believe that I was able to find some of those options. But um, the first option is like there's a private sector and there's a public sector. So public sector is when you go in a university and you just apply over there and you get a job on a part-time basis. So if you're doing like like if you have a job, maybe you're a teacher or maybe you're like an engineer, but you happen to have a degree in like master's of science and bachelor's. Sometimes sometimes you just need bachelor's, depends on the opportunity. But the one that I recently came across was asking for master's of science in math education and bachelor's of science in pure math or some sort of math related kind of major. So obviously I went ahead and I jumped on top of that right away. It was a part-time position, teaching like full classes. In now some of you will say, well, how can you do that? How can you just teach full classes? Will I be making money? Yes, guys. Like you could literally make really good income just being a teacher, teaching math for a university on part-time basis. It's absolutely bonkers when I started jumping into in private sector just to see, well, like I should say public sector. Um, it was absolutely bonkers. I gave it a shot just to kind of see, like, will I be able to land a job as a teacher, let's say. I kind of just gave it a try, just randomly gave it a shot today. And as you guys know, I'm borderline genius. I could just kind of jump into one field, get a job, and come out of it and just tell you, hey, I just landed a job, and here's how you could do it. And that's what a lot of reach out me for that level of consulting, because it's just people don't do that anymore. Like it used to be back in the days, you could go out and you could ask somebody for help and like to help you prepare a resume, and those days are gone. Now what people are looking for is like what all the chances that they could get to be hired by like a university or some sort of private entity that can give them the most amount of money. What I do, I found a way for how to like hack into the entire system. And you guys know I'm a full stack cybersecurity and cloud engineer. My ideal customer profile happens to be luxury pet moms over 40. But once in a while, I create some wild content like this and kind of just tell you what I tried and come back to you and be like, all right, go ahead. This is 100% gonna work. Went ahead and tried it. So guys, like at the end of the day, like here's the key. If you wanted to get like this really fire job, like on part-time basis, I'm talking about like 6K. The one that I looked was paying like 6,000 on a part-time basis, 6,000 per month. So that was pretty dope. So I looked at this job description, and the job description was fairly straightforward. It was in this particular job description, it said you just need to have a bachelor's degree in math and master's degree in also math or like math education or something. So obviously in my case, because I happen to have both, I was like, all right, let me go ahead and explore and see if I could actually go ahead and apply. And just tell them, hey, look, I have this is my degree, this is what I have. But clearly, like guys, if you were gonna do that and just apply without the extra sauce in the mix, the chances of you getting chosen are gonna be slim to none. Now, why am I saying all this, guys? The reason why is because I have a unique perspective that nobody could give you. Like if you go out and ask some teachers out there, like, hey, how do you land a job? Or like if you ask somebody who's just kind of in a university or something like this, there's a good chance that you'll fail the interview, simply because the person who's responding back to you for how to land a job doesn't have that multidimensional perspective that I happen to have, and which is an outsider perspective, perspective on an outsider, kind of like in that. I don't know if you guys seen that show 60 Days In. I don't know, that's my favorite show, where I watch a bunch of prisoners kind of just sneak themselves into a jail cell, like a prison, and then try to find all the details from what's happening inside of the jail. So I guess I could compare that to that. So I guess maybe you got to think of me from that standpoint, me kind of being like one of those inmates, but sneaking in into those big organizations, university settings, public settings, and coming back to you guys and giving you the tea, so this way you could crush it and just land the job. And some of you will say, well, like, what do I need to do? How do I pull this off? Like, how do I land that part-time job? Okay, so I'm just gonna make a couple of assumptions about you guys, but like what I'm specifically talking about is just this position. Only one position that I found on like LinkedIn. It's just one position, but of course there's other positions that I have different angles for cracking into them, and also increasing your chances of landing that job as well. But right now I'm just gonna kind of describe this position over here, the one that I literally just went ahead and applied, and see if I could break through. And I'm gonna give you the mentality of those people who are putting out all those jobs, so this way you could kind of understand it. Okay, guys, this is unique perspective, not taught anywhere in the world. It comes from me. Like, the reason why I have such a unique perspective, guys, is because like I'm doing a lot of AI stuff. I'm a full-stack cybersecurity engineer. I'm also a former certified math teacher for the state of Connecticut. And of course, like, I'm also trying and doing all those things together, not just kind of like theorizing about it. So, and a lot of moms over 40, and teachers and instructors and professors and coaches, they all looking for a way to like earn that extra income. And heck, I have a lot of side hustlers too. Folks who come from a background with beautiful full-time job, but they don't really have like the side hustler mentality. So that's where they also jump into this channel to develop that mentality, like a side hustler mentality, and have like all sorts of different side hustles while having a full-time job, but still being like a super duper expert in your full-time job and getting promotions, getting bonuses, all that. A lot of people ask me, like, how do you pull this off? How's this even possible to have like a full-time job, have all those side hustles, all those gig economy types of side hustles, and still performing at your full-time job? If not just performing, but being like the top at your full-time job. Like, how's it possible while still juggling all the other nuances? This is the top questions I get asked, and I tell them, like, guys, look, at the end of the day, like, if you just do one thing, it's like, just imagine, like, if they just say you only have a full-time job, it's equivalent to kind of like you being on a couch and just being like a lazy person sitting in a couch, and nothing is really, like, you don't exercise, you don't if you just lay on a couch, you don't exercise, your muscles become stiff, and all of a sudden you just kind of be like, damn, I can't really do anything, and you just kind of fall into that flow where you just want to continuously lay on a couch. The same kind of feeling happens not only with you laying on a couch, but when you use something like Threads. If you just go on social media and open up the app, and all of a sudden you thought you were going to spend a little bit of time on the app hunting for some leads, trying to find the next best thing, but the next thing, an entire day goes by and you're just still on Threads, being completely addicted, doom scrolling, experiencing this dopamine effect, and without anybody kind of tapping on your shoulder and saying, hey, yo, what the hell are you doing? Stop. Like, let's reformulate this a little bit. Let's just pivot a little bit. You could do better. Get away from doing that. Stop doing that. But like a lot of people, they just kind of, they don't get it. They just continue being in the flow, which is perfectly fine for you to some degree, being in the flow, but just kind of recognize the boundaries. And at the end of the day, guys, you gotta have some sort of a job, whether it's a part-time job or side hustle or a full-time. No matter what, you gotta have some sort of a job. Today we're talking about part-time job, which can, like, here's what I realized that universities managed to figure out, like, after pandemic. This didn't exist before, guys. This is a new thing, guys. This is where it comes from. When you were like a math teacher, you could go tutor somebody and get paid like, $120 per hour, and those were the good days of like 2006 or so. until like offshoring came in, and when it became like lower and lower price per hour, and then later it was just when AI came in, it was just like all hell broke loose, and all of a sudden nobody has any kind of job. So at the end of the day, like this became a problem and drove a lot of math teachers into extinction mode. And later AI started like getting other professions extinct, and a lot of teachers became really upset, and they just didn't know what to do anymore. And that wave of extinction came through so hard. It was just like a big wave, just breaking everybody's charisma, breaking everybody's hopes. And I wanted to come down over here and give you the hope and tell you, wait a second, you're just missing a couple of things, a couple of nuances, that it's okay. I know you guys not making a lot of money, and like, I'm judging by myself, because I mean, I remember the tutoring rate was $120 an hour. Right now the rate is $10 an hour. So how do you live like that? How can you possibly compete against like AI and people from overseas who are just literally willing to do that for like $1? So like, and as you guys already know, the worth of content in 2026 is down to zero. Heck, in 2025, the worth of content was already down to zero. So majority of people like who create content nowadays, they kind of treat it more for like fulfillment. They treat it more like kind of just a good way of getting extra energy. They're not really treating it like for money generation thing. So, but I want you to make money. And I thought hard about it, like, how can I do something for educators, coaches, teachers, luxury pet moms over 40, and other folks who are just kind of, who lost all the hopes in the modern day society that we live in. And I figured out a way for how to do this. I figured out a few ways. Right now I'm just focusing on one way. I'm describing like one potential path for you, which you could totally execute, and you could come back to me and you could be like, oh my God, Ron Wells just hooked me up with like a $6,000 per month part-time job. Can you guys imagine like what it could do for you? Like literally yesterday I showed you I was cutting the tree. You guys know how much that tree cost me? Sheesh, $3,500 to cut the tree. Man, like right now I'm doing some Uber Eats to complement for that tree. But can you imagine like what $6,000 extra per month on part-time basis can do for you? Especially if you're like, if you have like a full-time job, maybe you're into some AI governance, or maybe you're a cybersecurity engineer, or maybe you are like a nurse, or maybe it doesn't matter what kind of full-time job you can do. The bottom line is this part-time chick is going to be compatible with you. I provide multiple layers of compatibility for different types of people, whether you are a full-time person or a side hustler. The bottom line is, what I do is I provide multiple layers of compatibility. Now, what does that mean? The compatibility for your life. In simple words, maybe you don't have a master's degree and bachelor's degree, and maybe this entire life could feel like a moat. But I can assure you that there's certain ways where you can make it. Like, even if you don't have those degrees, you could still break through some of those organizations and pierce through the gatekeepers. And that level of mentality that I managed to burn into many moms over 40 and teachers and instructors and side hustlers is really unique, because what I do is I infiltrate big organizations and I find a way for how to extract secrets that will allow candidates like you, like apply into that organization and make money, while I just get to benefit from you landing a job, and of course I get a little cut from helping you, because at the end of the day, like when I help people, I tell them straight up. I even have some of my buddies like who call me and tell me, Rome, can you please help my daughter? I really need her to get a job. And my buddy, he would never pay anything. He would never, no matter what, he would never pay any money. And for the past 20 years, I would be telling him, look, why don't you just like pay me money? Like, so this way I could sit with your daughter and tell her like exactly what she needs to do in order to land the job. Like, why? Because I work at the full-time job. I know all the nuances. I know the architecture. I know what the people are looking for. I know the culture. So guys, like when people tell you go ahead and spend money on somebody, this kind of thing you just don't get. You don't get like on YouTube. You don't get that anywhere. The same thing with this kind of university thing. In fact, I told my buddy, I told him, look, if you want me to help your daughter, look, we both know that if she gets the job, I get a referral fee if she lands a job. So it's in my interest to help her. And all you need to do is let her know to contact me. And we'll sit down, we'll go through, I'll connect her also with my brother to do a couple of sessions. My brother has over like 40 certificates by this time. And we're both on Wall Street, and I tell people, look, it's the biggest mistake that you could make by not turning for help, thinking that you could learn this on YouTube. You see, guys, I must remind you, when you start applying for any of those jobs and you look at how many other people apply, it will start discouraging you instantly, because you'll see like, for example, on the position that I recently applied for, the $6,000 mathematics instructor position. For that position that I applied for, it was a $6,000 per month part-time position, and there was like 21 or something other candidates that applied. I went ahead and I still applied. Why did I apply? Even though I already have a job, even though I have another part-time job in university, even though I got like 8 different side hustles that I'm doing, even though I'm doing all those other things like investing in real estate, doing stock trading, doing all those things in parallel to tutoring students in mathematics whenever I get a chance, in parallel to tutoring students TikTok shop, in parallel to tutoring students AI content-driven automations, in parallel to building some of the innovative AI content-driven automations for the very same university work that I'm doing right now, where I'm teaching cybersecurity class. So like, can you imagine like how many perspectives you can get from somebody like me, literally helping you or your daughter or your son get into like a prestige job, or maybe for you, if you are an adult, to land a job. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of describe to you like how to do this, so this way you could understand the gravity of the situation and be like, oh my God, that makes sense. Okay, I'm just gonna walk you through like the entire process of right now. I went ahead and applied for a job as a part-time. I have a full-time job. I'm a full-stack cybersecurity engineer in the city, and I do lots of fun things. Yesterday I cut the tree. I told you guys I cut the tree. The tree was like $3,500. It's really expensive for me to be like, driving around explaining things to you and not making any money. Simultaneously, while I'm creating all this content, I'm simultaneously making money. How's that? How's it even possible? You see, YouTube tracks every single thing, and it like pushes this content on through LLMs. So when many of you guys are searching for innovative ways on ChatGPT, guess whose content comes through? My content. Now, you could combine that, your personal brand, together with like ChatGPT and like whatever your personal life is and your passion life, and still earn money on a private basis and kind of get clients this way, running a bunch of Andromeda ads and have really good smooth sailing. But that's not the topic I'm describing today. I'm describing literally a job that I went ahead and applied that pays $6,000 per month on a part-time basis. And how I'm circumventing this job, what exactly am I adding? Something innovative that would differentiate me from other people 100 times. Like I already know I'm gonna land that job, even though I don't even want the job. I'm doing it just to show to you guys that look how easy this is. And so this way you could get the ingredients, and then you can come to me, to my talent agency, and be like, oh my God, bro, please help me land the job. And of course, depending on who you are, maybe you don't have a master's degree, maybe you have a bachelor's degree, maybe you have a combination of it all. It's not good enough to just go ahead and be like, oh, I was a department chair of whatever. No, you're gonna get smoked so quick of what the people are looking for. You're gonna get smoked so quick. Like here's what I'm talking about, guys. Look, I'm gonna give you the description of the job description that I applied for. First of all, where did I apply for? I applied for in one of the universities in New York. And no, not the very same university in New York that I'm teaching, where I'm teaching computer networking. Another university in New York. But piggyback riding on my experience of the origin of this university in New York, I managed in building some innovative workflows that, by the way, I talked about in YouTube channel. I went ahead and I compressed all this information that I talked about on the YouTube channel for you, for how I came up with this incredible workflow that saves thousands of times hours for instructors, teachers, coaches, etc., etc. And I literally talked about it. I showed it to you. And what I did is I took this approach of what I literally did for myself in this university where I'm teaching, and I applied it for this position. So what did I put on a resume? I included something like this. I said, look, my name's Ron Wells. A couple of questions were like, are you a Christian? What do you think about Bible? I replied in there that I'm half Christian, half Jewish. But you know what? The good news is I kind of look like Jesus because because I have long hair. So I had to include something funny, remarkable and funny. That's the first thing I put, something differentiating, some sort of element of differentiation. Now, don't worry if you don't have long hair or anything like that. I'm just kind of describing what I put on a resume, okay? Now, the other thing I did, I included I looked at the description and what the description wanted. Description wanted somebody who can talk to teenagers, who can teach teenagers, and who can be really good with not necessarily math, but just curriculum development and getting together, collaborating with department heads and all that other stuff. So I looked at this whole thing and I asked myself, okay, what did I just do in this previous university where I got a job right away in teaching computer networking, where they love me not only for computer networking, but also for all the other courses that I went ahead and pitched to them. The very same courses that, by the way, I'm constantly talking about over here for you guys in private settings on this channel. The very same feudal incubators that I'm talking about, like TikTok Shop, drop shipping, content development, building AI systems for businesses, the very same courses. So, here's how I approached the university in New York first. What I did is I created a really lucrative reasoning for people to, first of all, to hire me. I said, look, I'm not just like an instructor. I'm not just like a regular instructor. And instead, I got a better for you. I got something better for you. In fact, I got something better for you for entire university to increase your university revenue by millions of dollars. And this is what I added in my resume. Now, if you were to go ahead and do that and add something like that, you're gonna need to have a little guidance for how to pull something off. How the hell can you do this? Guys, what I did is I kind of tapped into my 15 years of education of looking at historically I try to create I try to create a way for teachers to connect with students. I built a search engine portal that took me 300. I had to spend 300 grand. I got nothing out of it, but it was a good try. It was a good experience. But anyway, the bottom line is I tapped into that knowledge and I asked myself, how can I increase learning effectiveness of students And what is the first thing that students are looking for when they join introductory sections, before they decide whether or not they want to enroll into a class? I kind of started digging deep into some of those complexities. Here's what I discovered upon digging deeper into those complexities. I realized that students are really looking for, if the first question on the back of their mind is, will I land the job? That's like the first question on the back of the students' minds. I managed to crack that puzzle. I managed to figure out a way for how to crack that puzzle, guys. Why would students be interested? The reason why I was able to land that job, guys, in university, and the reason why I was able to effortlessly apply for mathematics job in another university was because I tapped into the minds of students. In simple words, here's what I discovered. During my introductory session in the university, I was given an opportunity to talk with people who are not yet enrolled in class, but the type of people who would be potentially interested in enrolling into the class. Here's what I discovered upon kind of watching them and asking their questions. Their first looming question that they had on their mind was not how great the program is, not how who's teaching or whatever, but will I land the job? That was the first looming thought. And instead what I saw was administrators kind of saying, hey, you're gonna get the scholarships, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. But me piercing through the minds of students, I recognized, I could see that in their eyes, will I land the job? And here I am, I'm applying for computer networking class, and I look at that realization in the eyes of students, and what I do is I reach out to administrator and I tell her, look, students are like, I know you want to hire me as instructor to teach computer networking, and I love that, absolutely love that, but there's so much more that you can get out of my expertise beyond just me being an instructor. Here's what I noticed. I noticed that the university participation rate is kind of struggling, meaning I noticed students didn't really want to join the class. And granted, right now I'm still teaching for students, but I didn't get the whole class of 20 people. And I looked at this and I said, look, I'm willing to prepare a multi-million-dollar revenue stream system that will increase the participation of your entire university, using my innovative coaching programs that I could replicate directly in your university settings that has nothing to do with computer networking. And she was like, wait, what do you mean? And I told her, look, here's what I mean. And I showed her exactly the feudal incubators, the very same feudal incubators that I'm showing you guys over here in this channel. And I told her, look, at the end of the day, people who are going to apply for any kind of subject matter of expertise, when they're going to take that class, they don't know if they're going to land the job or not. But what if you give them extra skill, the hybrid set of skills that will make them peaceful and make them feel that they will land the job, and show to them how it's possible in reality. And she was like, hey, what do you mean by that? And what I did is I showed her digital faceless marketing, AI content-driven automations, and other set of skills for how you could just build brands that either keep them or flip them, market yourself right in front of the business owners, and amplify your skills that you learn from whatever the class that you take in front of business owners, and either land the job on a small business scale or on a corporate level scale, depending on how well you embrace the networking opportunities that are presented directly to you within the university itself. And of course, she was like, wow, that sounds complex. I said, look, what's more complex? Getting less students and not increasing revenue, or literally introducing extra set of classes based on my feudal incubators into your university structure, and then reaping the benefits and giving an opportunity for instructors like me and other instructors to present their brand that they could they could infuse inside of the classroom settings and get the opportunity for even students to be helping your brand grow in it even further. Do you guys realize like how deep this stuff is? None of this was possible before the world of AI. Now you could build a brand and incorporate that brand directly inside of the actual curriculum. So this is deep level stuff, guys. Deep level stuff. I'm gonna get some food real quick, and then I'm gonna do a little bit of Uber Eats. But I wanted to just let you know this. Like, this is the complexity we're dealing with. If you wanted to learn the details that will increase universities' student participation, if you wanted to learn the details and how to land a job, like a really powerful job, then DM the word PAF on my Insta, because I just scratched part of the surface. I didn't even cover the innovative workflow that I came up with that is just absolutely smoking hot for any kind of university to implement. This was just one small thing, guys. Now, if you were to get my coaching program and wanted some help in breaking through some of those universities and landing a job on a part-time basis, you could most certainly do so. Reach out to me, DM the word PAF on my Insta. This will make it easier for you to land that job, because otherwise you wouldn't have those perspectives. You would be struggling. You wouldn't know how to like approach them. And just imagine how much your life can change if you have a $6,000 per month job. And that's all I wanted to say, and I'll see you next time. Take care.